The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
All right, hey, Modern Jeepers, it's another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matt from MetalCloak. And at this point, I would usually be saying, hey, Corey Osborne and Mr. Modern Jeeper and Jessy, but you know what? They're not here today. Where are they at? They are on the Death Valley trip, ModernJeeper Adventures Death Valley. So I thought, you know what the heck? I am going to do my podcast here by myself without my support team, but I'm going to have a great guest. So with us is Kristie Knox. Hello, Kristie.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. Now, Kristie Knox is known as what on Instagram?
Tombraider Wrangler on Instagram.
Tombraider Wrangler. You know, and it didn't even matter that you're obviously attractive and you have a great fan base, but Tomb Raider, like I'm a fan of Tomb Raider. Always have been a fan of Tomb Raider. I was a fan of the game back when it was just like you were just trying to do it in the 80s, 90s, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I don't even know when the game first started. But I was a fan of the movies.
I remember playing it on PlayStation 1. That's what I remember playing.
Oh, wow. You are old school. Wow.
Yeah.
That's OG right there. Tomb Raider. I'm going to look at Wikipedia right now. We're going to Wikipedia. Have you ever thought about looking up Tomb Raider on Wikipedia? There it is.
No, I haven't.
There
ironically.
we go. Tomb Raider, also known as Lara Croft Tomb Raider from 2001 to 2008, is a media franchise. That was the movies, titles, games.
Yeah.
The first entry of the series, Tomb Raider, was released in 1996 for personal computers, PlayStation, and Sega. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 1990. So, because I remember the guys playing it. In fact, I had a girlfriend who loved it on her on her iMac, and I think she had like the blue iMac, right?
Yeah.
What do
the
they call
old
it? The
school.
blue. Yeah, total old school. And she was going to college, and she was playing that, and of course, half the guys are watching it just because they want to see Lara Croft swim, right? You know, it was bad.
Yeah. Lara Croft, she's cool.
she was a badass. Now, I don't know about the remake. The new one that they did was not, to me, was not as fun as the Angelina Jolie movies. But what it comes down to is just the Tomb Raider Jeep, because like I thought the Tomb Raider Land Rover, the Defender, was badass, and then the Tomb Raider Jeep was badass. So it's cool that you got that edition. How long have you had that one?
About 3 or 4 years now. So funny story, I had a Renegade at the time because I was traveling farther. I needed to fit into the garage at the hospital, and the other Jeeps I had, they didn't fit in the garage. So got a smaller one. And for a while it was good. I liked it, but I actually stumbled upon this at a used car dealership. We lucked out. He didn't realize it was a special edition. We chatted, we made friends. There was a couple things he was getting done to it. So he's like, come back in a little while and we'll make a deal. And honestly,
wow.
it was luck. It was all luck for sure.
Wow.
But,
wow. So,
yeah.
so you just said other Jeeps. So let's go back to your Jeep life. I mean, let's figure things out. So when did you get bit by the Jeep bug?
When I was a kid, I remember walking out of breakfast diners and seeing there were like yellow, bright blue car ads. And I always saw a red TJ on there. And ever since, I'm like, when I grow up, I'm going to have a red TJ. I'm going to have one. Not red, but yeah. So it started as a kid. My first car, my parents didn't want to let me get a Jeep Wrangler just because they were on to let me learn how to drive first. So whatever. When I was old enough to buy one, I was like, I'm buying it. So my first Jeep I ever had was a 2004 Grand Cherokee. Had that one for a while. That was fun. Those are cool. Good first car.
Any edition? Was the Laredo edition? Was it?
No, it was just regular Grand Cherokee. Yeah.
Because I had an 05 and an 06.
Okay.
Back to back to each other. So that was actually my first real, like the Jeep that I actually owned was an 05 and an 06. So yeah. So simpatico
too
there.
funny. Yeah. So it was 04. It was like a tealish blue. It was nice. It was clean. I made it into kind of more just like a light trail riding / overlanding rig. They're pretty big compared to like a TJ or,
Right.
other two doors. So that was cool. That had a 4-inch suspension lift on it. We had 33s. It was getting at the point where you couldn't really lift it or do bigger tires without chopping it up anymore. So that kind of stopped at that point in the build. And that was the Jeep that I was kind of talking about wouldn't fit into the garage at the hospital at the time that I worked at. So
Wait, how big of a lift was on it?
What'd you say?
How big of a lift was on that?
It was 4-inch.
4-inch lift. What size tires?
33s.
And it wouldn't fit in the garage at the hospital?
I did have a rack on it, like a
Okay.
probably
All right.
4 or
That makes that makes sense. The rack part.
Yeah. Even without the rack though, it'd be close. Yeah.
You get a little, sometimes those rigs you get a little claustrophobic, right? Because you see
Yeah.
I've driven like trucks. One of our trucks here like fits in like the quick quack car wash by like that much, right? But it gets a little hairy when you're driving through and you're kind of wondering if you're going to hit stuff or not. I get it.
Yeah, and I worked night shift, so you really couldn't even like totally get a good visual on if you're gonna fit in the garage or not, and you don't have like the same spot every night, so it got a little crazy. So we posted it up for sale. We didn't really have a ton of buyers or biters at the time, so I went ahead and bought the Renegade. Cherokee is still sitting at the house, just kind of waiting at the time. So I used the Renegade to fit into the garage and everything. Someone came along and wanted to trade for the Cherokee. I was like, all right, well, what do you have for trade? Like, well, I have a 77 C3 Corvette. I'm like,
Wow.
Probably should take the money, but also at the same time, how can I pass up an offer like that? Like,
wait, a 77 Corvette for a Grand Cherokee?
So the guy was looking for better daily reliable vehicle for his wife at the time. He had started the Corvette project and he offered, so I was just like, you know what, let's go take a look at it, see how it is, and the thing turnkey ready to drive. So it was like,
wow.
All right. So a couple weeks go by, we trailer the Cherokee out there, and honestly, like the rest is history. It was an even trade. Everyone was happy. He was happy. I was happy. The Corvette, even since then, hasn't needed too much.
You still have it?
Yeah, it's right here.
Wow.
Yeah, she's good. She's fun. It has a small block in it.
Wow.
Nothing crazy, just classic Corvette, but it's got the T-tops on it, so it's fun in the summer and everything.
I bet. That's a little target top. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. I'm not necessarily the most comfortable cockpit. Those it is amazing what the Corvette has become over the years, though. I mean, it is absolutely amazing how it's evolved. And the funny thing is, because I was growing up in the 70s and the Corvettes of that style, especially back then, the front ends with the all fiberglass and they either survived or they didn't, right? And there were a lot of them that just didn't survive. The fiberglass broke apart and didn't exist. And it was kind of like, is that really where the Corvette should have ever looked like? But now it's classic. Like now, now we're in 2023. You look at that, go, what a cool classic design that car had. I mean, it's kind of funny how it grows that way.
It has more technology than my Jeep does. It has power windows. It has like all these little things. And I'm like, even my 2003 Jeep don't. Well, obviously, they don't have power windows, but it's just funny, 30 years difference.
Jeep was simplicity defined. Jeep was. It isn't anymore. Now there's too much deck in it. Okay, so you trade. You get this trade for this Corvette that you still got now.
Yep.
And did you? So then, so you get that. So then you have the Renegade. Now I want to clarify. This was one of the new Renegades, right?
New Renegade. Yep. It was 2016 Trailhawk. Yeah. It was cool.
Well,
no hate.
Okay, so at least you got a trail. At least you got a Trailhawk Renegade.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like the little toaster rig. You got the Trailhawk. That's nice.
Yeah. It literally had a knob in it that said like sand, mud, snow. And then there was one other option, and you like turned the knob and then it like shows the picture of the Jeep in that terrain on the screen. Just like, I'm not used to all this technology, like, but very fast compared to the other Jeeps I've had, for sure. It was on the highway. It was great. It had, I think it was 8 speed in it. It was cool, but yeah, time for it to get, So I again traded that plus, I think I got 1,000 back or gave 1,000. I forget what it was, but the guy at the used car dealership for the TJ, he's like, I can sell that more than I can sell this, which I was like, okay, sure, whatever you say,
Right.
Yeah, so it was pretty much just another even deal. So it was easy to swap, to fix, to finance or whatever at the time. I mean, it came out on top. No payment, nothing. So it was good. And it's just so much more me than the Renegade was. I actually like enjoy every single ounce of the TJ, whereas there were certain things about the Renegade that I couldn't go and do trail riding, which I was used to doing even in the Cherokee before that. Even though it wasn't crazy hard technical trails, it was still trail riding nonetheless. But yeah, so that was like 3 or 4 years ago at the time, and I didn't even care. I should have thought about it more, but it didn't fit in the garage. So I was back at the same problem of getting into the hospital. But at the time, I lived in a different house and we didn't have like this kind of garage, like garage at home. So when we moved here a couple of years ago, it was like a huge life change because we could work on everything. My husband and I had been working out of like a large carport at the other house. So to move into a place where we could like actually like spread out and have our tools and everything, it was like life changing. So
your husband must love the fact that you're into the machinery too, right? Like that's such a great find for him.
We work side by side, but like we don't work on top of each other. Like I have my projects and he has his projects, and it's good to be like, oh, hey, honey, help me out with this, but not like right on top, like always. It's funner that way, you can kind of have your builds, I have my builds, and then like we'll take both of them out or whatever and drive around with the kids, have one kid in the other and then one kid with me. We'll radio to each other.
Do the kids fight over? No, I want to be in the Corvette. No, I want to be in the Jeep.
Oh yeah, hardcore.
Yeah.
But my son, he's kind of too little to go in the Corvette still, so we send my daughter over and get to go in the Jeep with me. But yeah, it's fun. We take them off-roading too. They love it. I don't really bring them on like the bigger, more rock crawling trails or anything, but when we go up to New Hampshire and do like the Class 6 roads, they love it. They have a blast.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
New Hampshire, that's one of the great places to wheel around you.
Yeah. It's not that far, probably 2-3 hour drive to get to southern New Hampshire, and the Class 6 roads around there are real fun. You're not going to break most likely on the trail, and you can drive there, drive home, not have as many worries. Am I going to make it back?
So I'm looking at your Instagram. Again, guys, it's Tombraider_Wrangler. And it looks like I went all the way back, and it looks like the first post I found is August 15th. Look, it's okay, guys. So this is Tuesday, and I'm just getting a call from Aaron Kalachi, my partner and CEO, who's on Death Valley. And instead of just enjoying the ModernJeeper Adventure Death Valley, he's trying to call me right now. So he's just gonna have to wait. He's just gonna have to wait. But the Tombraider. So August 15th, 2020 is the first post. Is that your very first post on Instagram?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
So you just got this rig, and it looks. I mean, it's pretty much the way it looks there. Looks as how it would have been. It's just basically the stock rig.
Yeah.
The cool Tombraider edition with a little bit of the diamond plate on the front and the
Yep.
light bar, right? Because she had to
Yep.
have a light bar, and flowing through it. So it's cool. So what inspired you to then take this photo and start an IG page about it?
No, I don't even know. Like, I had another just like regular personal Instagram, and I never had like any motivation to post really anything to that. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna start one just for the Jeep, and more as kind of like a travel journal, I guess, per se. I didn't know it was gonna grow into what it is today. So it's been a fun journey. It allows me to see like, wow, the rig has really changed like a lot in the
Mm.
past 2 years or so.
Well,
But
and it's a
in
great
that
journey for
picture
people
that
to
you're,
follow.
yeah, for sure. In that picture that you are talking about, I think it had a 2.5 inch lift at the time, and those were 33s. Other than that, everything was pretty stock. Still had like the stock fenders, the light bar, the side steps, basically all the stock things that came
Yeah,
with the Tombraider.
all the stock stuff, and then it looks like it's like, and the comments. You have 4 comments on there, 112 views, 112 likes, but the comments are like, "Nice start," and 133 weeks ago, which was be on the lookout. Then I'm gonna be doing some Jeep giveaways soon, and discounts with my partners at Rough Country. So there's somebody like promoting Rough Country to you already.
Interesting. Yeah.
New to the gang, yay! So it's cool. How to scroll. One of the cool things about the Jeep community, guys, and it's what we love about all you modern Jeepers, is just how welcoming you are. Right now,
Yeah.
there probably be some haters out there, and lots of those haters are ones because they just don't got what you got. But it's cool. You started out here. You get some likes, and over there's one 19 weeks ago, so there's still people going back. In fact, he did exactly what I did. Or Jace Aubrey, I had to scroll a long way to where this all began. Yep, that's
Yeah.
that's true. That's what I just did. But it's cool because you can go through and start there, and Tomb Raider number 0051. How many were made?
So the number is typically 1,000, but other documents and research that I found show there was a little over 1,050 of them.
Okay.
So they each come with a badge on the inside, near the shifter, and it will say, like mine says 0051, but there are some out there that will show like 1,030. So I guess,
Interesting.
I don't know if it was Jeep that said it or someone else, but initially it was 1,000 of them came out, and then there was like 50 made for production and like promotion by
Ah,
dealers and stuff.
ah,
So
right.
yeah.
Plus, there was at least one, or maybe probably a half dozen that were just done just for the movie, because
Yeah.
they go through those real quickly. Um,
Yeah.
so it is interesting because I am looking it up. It says, yeah, 1,001 were made, or possibly, or it says in parentheses, or possibly closer to 1,050. Who knows? So you're right.
Yeah.
Um, but you had number 51. Wow, that's pretty cool. So he had
Yeah.
no idea that
He
how low that's pretty cool.
he didn't, and he was very nice. Like honestly, I'd go back there and buy a car from him again just because it was great. We helped each other out, and it worked out in favor for everyone for sure.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I went back there maybe like 6 months after I bought it. I started already doing stuff to it. He's like, wow, this is cool. Like he was so happy that I came back and showed him what I had done to it so far. But yeah.
So, which begs the question, because you can go through this evolution of the Jeep, right? You're evolving the Jeep, you're making some changes to the point where you've got, you put MetalCloak fenders on, and all. Like, at some point, were you like hesitant to make those kind of mods to the rig because thinking that it might lessen the value, or was it more about the pleasure that you wanted versus the trying to maintain?
So my fenders in the front, I had gotten bigger tires. They were a little rusty. The original fenders. They had that classic spot that they all start to get rusty in right in the
Hmm.
middle there. And I had like flexed so hard that it then cracked the plastic flare. So I was like, all right, so time to like decide where to go. My friend Cody, he loves MetalCloak stuff. He's the one who got me into it. So he's like, you got to get the fenders because it's still my daily driver. So with your guys' fenders, you can remove the flares. So when I need to be on the road and pass inspection, etc., stuff like that, throw the flares on. But then when you go off road, you just pop them off, and it's win-win. That's one of my favorite like aspects of those fenders that you guys have is it's such a quick change, but it makes a big difference when you're going off road and stuff as a daily vehicle, and then come back and pop them on and you're legal again. So
Right. Legal. We'll put legal in parentheses out there, people. Legal.
right.
Yeah, it's the coverage. Yeah, what's it like in your area? What are the rules?
They're pretty strict. They have lift laws. I'm not sure the inches that it needs to be in, but pretty much the fenders have to cover the tires, essentially. They give you a little bit of wiggle room, but for the most part, like they take pictures during the inspection, so you can't there's really no way around it. But some people put like smaller tires on, but I didn't really want to go that route. I wanted to be, since it's my daily and I'm going everywhere with it, I wanted to do it the right way. But
So
they have it. I think it's a, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're running are you running the 8-inch flares or the 6-inch flares?
6-inch, yeah.
Okay.
6-inch overlines.
Because we did create the 8-inch flares because of that, specifically East Coast guys like in Pennsylvania, where they'll put a quarter on the side of the fender and drop it if it hits tire, right? So we made the 8-inch flares, which are great. I mean, that's good for coverage, not anything you want to wheel with, right? But that's the idea. You can pop on the 8-inch flares, you can take them off, you can put on the 2-inch rub rails. It's just an easy way to modify it.
Yeah. I haven't had anyone. I'll have to look those up, but these are 10.5 inch wide tires, and with the 6-inch, it just pokes out like just a tiny bit, and it's been fine. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, well, 10.5. So what tires are you running?
35s by 10.5 by 15-inch rim.
What brand?
BF Goodrich KM3s.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Mud tires, I don't go on the highway as much, and it's been working for me. I have no issues with that kind of stuff. But yeah, 35s are good. Eventually I'd like to go to 37s, but gives me time to re-gear, figure all that kind of stuff out before I go up any bigger.
Sure. Yeah. Modern Jeepers, you know this, but we're somewhat, I guess we're a little spoiled by the JLJT because of the 8-speed transmission. It's easy to modify and change tires and not have to worry about gears. It's not as good as if you do change your gears, and you should do your gears eventually, but I haven't done the gears on my own JT. And so, but the older TJs, the older rigs, JKs, TJs, you start putting tires on there and you start, you really affect its drivability, its quality of drive, everything. So it's all part of a big package. That's cool. And so now the Tombraider edition, that come with a 44 front and rear?
Yep, 44 front and rear, 410s for the gears.
Well, technically it's a Rubicon, right? So technically it's a Rubicon, but with the Tombraider package. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I still have all stock axles, stock gears, stock drive shafts for the most part. That's actually next on the list. I'm like, all right, time to address those things, just because I'd rather not break it and then have to do it. I'd rather kind of upgrade it, and then I'll have those spare drive shafts and bring them with me on the trails and stuff, etc.
Well, that's cool. Now, there's one thing. I mean, you can go through your Instagram and most go through and say, "Oh, this is just a pretty girl who's standing next to a Jeep." But guys and gals, this isn't the case. I mean, there's we don't. One of the things, obviously, we love the fact that you like our products, but we're not just simply coming out and going, "Hey, look, here's this Instagram page, and it's a pretty girl, and it's out of Jeep, and all this kind of stuff." Because those are a dime a dozen. But you actually work on your rig. I mean, you work on it, and there's proof of it because you're doing it on IG, and it's not just like Ian Johnson, who will tell us a story. He likes to work when he actually does his show. He does the actual work. And he tells stories all the time about some of the other shows he's worked with where they have mechanics do the work. And then the host comes in and goes, "So today we just installed this axle and we just put it in here and you tighten all these things. And then all good. Now we're going to go on to this." but you're not that. You're not like your husband's not doing the work and you're coming in here going, look, now I'm putting it together. See, I'm a pretty girl.
Right.
You're actually doing the work.
I love him, but nope, I want to do it. I like
Nice.
doing, you know.
Nice.
I think I enjoy that out of all the Jeeping, whether it be wheeling ventures, whatever. I enjoy wrenching on it for the most part, as long as, you know, no project goes without hiccups and things like that.
Sure.
But
Sure.
I've learned just so much, like just working on it, whether, and you can apply it to so many things, like not even just working on cars, but I just like building things in general. So I think for me, it's why it comes easy, because I truly enjoy it. And that I don't put the videos out there to show, hey, I can do it. I more do it so it's like you can do it too. Like it's really not as hard. Like people are scared of drilling into their Jeep. Like I had a couple comments on the video when I installed the rock rails that, oh, I was so afraid to drill into my Jeep. But then I saw this video, I'm like, and it doesn't look as hard as it is. I'm like, it's really not. If you do the right steps, you center punch and you start small and you work up, it's just take your time, and you know, you can do a lot more than you think you can do. It is what I try to put out as my message, really, and the main point of my Instagram and stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just for everybody out there, yeah, we all get scared the first time we punch a hole in our Jeep anyway. And we've had brand new Jeeps around here, like, oh, this 1 week old, and I'm gonna drill a hole into it. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
we all get a little scared. But that's so you've put everything on your rig. Then you put the fenders on, you put
Mhm.
and what lift do you have on there?
So am going to go to a full 3.5-inch game changer. I have the shocks and the springs and the sway bar links. I'm supposed to be getting the control arms. Those were supposed to come in today, but FedEx or whoever was supposed to deliver it, you know, classic. You know.
Classic, right?
So,
Yeah.
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 So
Uh,
after the end of this weekend, I'll have the full 3.5-inch game changer left.
so you've done it piece by piece, which was easy for you to do.
Yeah, for the most part. You know, take off the tires 100 times over and over again, but other than that, you know, it's piece by piece. Kind
Well,
of the same thing with the armor and stuff. I just, as I could, I purchased what I could when I could and planned it around when I needed to use the rig, and little by little I've completed the whole system. So
well, doing that too, obviously that advocates because Jessy, who is normally on here, talks a lot about just the Jeep girls community, right?
hmm,
And she's a big advocate and been doing that. She did the with Charlene Bauer and the training they do there,
yeah,
plus
yeah.
and all the different tread lightly programs.
Mhm.
But it's incredible because you're part of that community too, right? You're part of the Jeep her community and part of
Yeah.
the this growing movement. And I tell
Mhm.
this story, I'll tell it all the time, and everybody, says, well, you heard it all before. But when we built our fenders, and it was 2010, my first time out at King of the Hammers, I'm going through and a lady walks up to me and she's walking around the Jeep. She goes, I gotta tell you, um, I bought your fenders and I'm part of a Jeep club that had all male members.
Mhm.
And I went and bought your fenders and I put them on by myself over a weekend. And she was not mechanically inclined. She just went through, followed the instructions, did them, was
Yeah.
able to do them her on herself over the weekend, just so she can go back to her Jeep club and show all the guys what it is she did. Right.
Mhm.
So it's great to be a part of that and to be able to help and just have good products that help people like yourself to be able to just do it, install it, and build it. So the inspiration you're creating for others is amazing. But tell me
Thank
about
you.
that the group and the community and other women that you've been working with.
Yeah, for sure. There's honestly, there is so many good women and men in that community, but like you're saying, I just want to show them that they can do it too, and I want to be a resource for other people. I mean, I'm not a professional. I say that all the time out there. I'm just a person that enjoys doing it. And if you have a passion for something and you want to learn, it's all possible. For sure. And I've been lucky to be supported by so many wonderful women and other members of the Jeep community, that I feel that this is my way to give back, to help those new people feel comfortable to ask questions, to say, look for advice on the direction of their build or stuff like that. Even some younger gentlemen have said like they were nervous to ask their fellow whatever friends things and have said to me online like, okay, like that's cool, like I'm gonna try to do the same thing. So I feel like as long as if I can help one person be inspired to try something new, whether it be wrenching or wheeling, I'm satisfied at the end of the day.
That's awesome. Well, that's a motivation to do it more too, because you do it,
Yeah.
guys. There are a lot of videos on here, and she stumbles through it. I mean, it is not like, look at here, it's all done and it's done in 5 minutes, super fast. You go, wow, that's a perfect. No, she stumbles through it. She shares her stumble with you. I mean, it's totally cool.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
some funny ones on there. I try to show the reality of wrenching. It's not all everything's perfect, or even if you look up online directions, like if it says, oh, it's a 1/2 inch wrench or whatever, it's not always. It's really not. Especially with these older Jeeps, I feel like everything's a little bit different
Well,
for that.
it's very true. You give me 100 Jeeps, and I'll give you 100 different measurements for the same exact thing. It's
Yeah.
just they are, especially back in the age of the TJ. If you look at how they made things, how they machined things, and how they put fenders on, I mean, nothing ever fully
Yeah.
lined up. That's why you had to do things. So that's really cool. Now, and I will say, yeah, the personality comes through on the page. That's pretty cool.
I appreciate
Um,
that.
it just
I
and
like
you
to
just you,
do I'd like to get into more of like engine stuff. I've done a lot of like suspension and armor and things like that. I haven't done too much engine work on mine, knock on wood, everything's been okay, but I've done like some valve cover stuff, little things like that, cleaning up in there. So maybe down the line I'll look into doing some more fun stuff with that kind of aspect.
well, you got to do an oil change. I mean, just and
Yeah.
it's got to be messy. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you got to do an oil change. It's got to be messy. It's one of those
Yes.
things. When all is said and done, your hands gonna be all covered in oil and
Yeah.
and grease going down your. It's just you just got to do that just because it's fun to do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you haven't seen too many people do an oil change on IG because it's just messy. But you got to do it, right? You gotta do a little valve job on the engine, fun stuff like
Yeah. One of
that.
the first jobs that I didn't share as much about it at the time because my page wasn't as busy as it is now, but the rear main seal, oh, that's like one of the worst jobs ever. You have to like cut the exhaust off, and like it's hard to get to. It's not, the job itself isn't hard, but it's just, so I guess that kind of turned me off from doing anymore. I'm like, all right, we'll just leave it alone.
You'll leave it alone for now. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it. That's so yeah. But when you get to the axle upgrades and the gearing,
Yeah.
obviously leave gearing to the professionals just
Oh
because
yeah.
it's such a thing. But it would be cool to have it being done, and then you're there with them with the camera, kind of learning about it, sharing about why it's
Yeah.
important.
I
Excuse me.
definitely know like when to say when, and gears are definitely one of those times to say, I don't want to learn at that time. I'd rather learn by watching, like you said, go to the shop that I go to, which is Ocean State Off Road. And they're super cool there. They support the DIY, they support the people who want to learn and everything. So for sure, definitely be bringing that. I'm hoping before the season starts to get the gears done, but if it doesn't happen, I'll do it in the fall. But
Hey, you got time. Right.
yeah.
So now you have almost 40,000 followers on IG. Um, and that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what is it like to have and how much communication do you receive from them? I mean, is it
Um, I have to say, people always, first thing they usually ask about like haters or whatever. And honestly, the majority of people are genuinely nice. Like, and if they're not, my motto is just kill them with kindness. That's it. I don't play into it. It is what it is. Whether you believe what I do or don't believe what I do, it doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, I got nothing to prove. I'm just there to have fun. Like, I truly enjoy it, and I think people see that. I think that's why I haven't been like troubled with as many negative people online. I mean, it's not to say that they aren't there, but it's what you put your energy into is what you get back. So I just say just ignore them. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, it keeps me busy. I enjoy it though. I love hearing about the stories, what this person did with their build, or I found quite a few other Tomb Raiders online, which is cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a couple in the Northeast, and then I think there's one or two that I know about on the West Coast side.
And so they're both on IG as well.
Yeah, and hopefully one day I'm gonna try to do like get whether it be like an email list or like some kind of newsletter, just so that everyone can kind of like stay connected. I think it would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, maybe you could do a Discord or something with
Yeah,
all the Tomb Raider
yeah,
edition rigs out there. I mean, I don't know how many are still running, but there were, were 1,000 made. So even if there's
yeah,
just, a few hundred still out there,
yeah,
it'd be a very interesting thing to see. Have
yeah.
you guys all to come together, maybe do an event, have your own little club meeting at Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion or something. That would be fun.
I'd love to get another one and just keep that one like completely stock, or like fix it up to be like exactly how it was supposed to. But
You should
you
start
know,
searching now and see if you can find like edition 0001.
right? I
Gotta find it.
know.
Somebody out there has it.
For the movie ones, they said that there's three. Two are in museums, which was like one that she used, and then one that they use like with like the stunt double or whatever, and then the third one they no longer have. I was like, oh man. But they the differences between the movie one and the like this one, the Jeep, just a regular
Yeah.
production model, it's kind of crazy. Like there's a really cool roll bar on the movie one,
Right.
which when this isn't my daily, I'm probably gonna try to like get something fabricated to look like that one, which would
Oh,
be
that would be
cool,
cool. That would be cool.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it doesn't in the movie, isn't this the one where she comes in, like she parachutes in and they
Yeah, yeah,
lands in the back of the Jeep basically?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So you had to have something different there than the
yeah,
stock. Yeah, had to
yeah.
look cool. That's nice.
And then
So
the light,
that'll be one of those things. Once you have that roll cage, and then we'll just
yeah.
do a whole big thing where you're driving along and somebody will parachute in and we'll IG that. I mean, that'll blow you up. You'll be at 1 million followers easy.
Maybe Angelina will notice and she'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I want to come take a picture with that Jeep."
You know, that was when she was believable as an action star. And, yeah, and her some of her later movies where she's like her arms are that skinny and she's an action. It was just kind of funny. It's like, okay, early when you did that, you were believable.
Right.
I loved her in the two Mayward movies. I loved her in Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh
That,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then kind of that whole flow, and then the later stuff's just been kind of like, okay, well, yeah, you're not. I don't really see you as a
Yeah.
badass anymore. I'm sorry.
I don't think you could kick anyone's ass anymore.
No, I know. I think they'd break your arm like this little twiggy thing. But that's acting. That's the beauty of acting.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Um, so cool. So so you've got um let's talk trails. Let's talk trails because you've
Yeah.
always been out and you don't, have you taken Tomb Raider like to any like actual like rock crawling, wheeling, going up waterfalls, that sort of thing? Are you mainly out about just doing some good back road trails and how
Yeah.
extreme do you go?
So I joined a Jeep club, and it's tough around here. There's no public off-roading, not a single place in Rhode
Right.
Island
Right.
public off-roading that you can do. So there's not many hard trails, I'd say, in Rhode Island. It's more kind of like dirt road, light
Mm,
rock crawling, that kind of thing. Um, they're up in New Hampshire where we would go. That's definitely more technical stuff. The access that we do have through the Jeep Club is private properties that have allowed us to graciously use their land in a respectful manner, and we do work there or volunteer, that kind of thing. um I battle with doing like crazy stuff because it still is my daily. So
right.
when we do trailer it to the events, like bigger events anyways, so it's not that I'm worried about not getting it home, but it's just to drive it Monday through Friday. But hopefully there's a plan in the works for that. That will hopefully happen sooner than later, just so I can push it a little bit to the limits more. I know it's so capable, so just,
Well,
gotta trust the process.
If it is down for any period, at least you got the Corvette to go to work with, right?
Yeah.
If that definitely fits in the hospital. So what do you actually do? What do you do at the hospital?
Yeah, so I no longer work at the hospital. I was
Okay.
a burn and trauma nurse for a number of years.
Oh my gosh, that had to be hard.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a lot. I went straight out of nursing school right into that unit there. I am grateful for my time that I had there and the experiences that I learned, but that job is no joke. It is not for the faint of heart, and it's hard to leave that stuff at work and then go home and be like, what did I just see? Like,
wow. Yeah.
So I
your
left
own
the
trauma on that.
hospital. Yeah. It was a great experience, but not something I wanted to do forever. So now I just do more outpatient stuff part-time because I'm allowed to build more with the Instagram and the business on the side and stuff like that. So it sounds silly, but this Jeep has literally allowed me to like build a dream that is obviously still in progress, but something that I wake up every day and look forward to doing. That wasn't always the case at the hospital. It's hard, and God bless every person that can do that every day. And I'm not afraid to admit it, but it wasn't for me long term. It was hard. It was very hard in the mind, the body. I was working night shift, and I couldn't work on my Jeeps. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do at that place just because of it took over my life. And then the pandemic and all that stuff, that was just like the icing on the cake of wanting to do something different and get out of the hospiel. But I'm happier now more than ever.
That would be hard during the pandemic. Like, you have a burn case come in, and then you had to have the burn case come in, but then you also had to have COVID protocols in place. I mean,
right.
Wow.
Yeah. So our floor, since it being the burns, we couldn't have any COVID patients on the unit. But when they canceled like elective surgeries, stuff like that, our floor wasn't very busy. So we would get floated to the COVID units now and again, which was crazy in itself to see. But we were lucky in the sense that we didn't have to have COVID patients on the floor and stuff. But nonetheless, they're both different evils. They're both hard in different ways. But
right. Yeah, I just can't imagine that. We knew my wife loves Grey's Anatomy, right? I think she's the 17th time through the entire season, right? It's always playing in the background, right? And just some of the burn cases that they've covered, right? And that's just television, but and she watches some of the other reality shows, some of the other reality surgery shows and doctor shows. And
yeah,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine seeing that and having to deal with that and the pain that people are going through. And there's not enough painkiller to get rid of it, right?
No, there's not.
At least
I'm at the point now where I hope to someday start some kind of, whether it be a charity type of thing. I don't want to be paid to be a nurse. I want to help people in a way where I just don't want the money. I would rather give back to the community in a way where, my goal down the line is to somehow start a charity where I'm bringing out medical supplies in a Jeep to harder to reach communities is kind of the goal for me, my nursing career at this point.
Well, that's very cool. That's very cool. Well, we can all help you get there, right? That's awesome. So that means, guys, you got to support her. You got to join her Instagram so you can do stuff. Tell me about. So we were talking about the girl Jeepers. Tell me about Jeeper. What is that about?
Yeah. So I actually have the shirt on right now.
But, yeah.
So the main goal of being a Jeeper or part of the Jeeper community is we want to encourage women to pursue their passions, their dreams of wrenching, wheeling, and having a safe place to do that in. We're there to encourage you to pursue those goals and those dreams and supply anyone help along the way who needs it, whether it be answering questions about wrenching, looking for legal places to go wheeling, especially on the East Coast where it's a little bit harder to find those trails. And basically just, support those who support us and create this community of helping each other and being an advocate for those women and younger Jeepers.
Well, that's awesome. So, and how long have you been associated with Jeeper?
So officially, I had started at the end of last year, but unofficially a lot longer. They had opened their arms to me, and I experienced what I am now trying to promote. So I knew I wanted to be a part of that. It's more than just a clothing brand. It's more than that. It's about creating the future of making a community for women and their Jeeps.
That's awesome. And that's great because there's so many trainings. A lot of times when we do Skills Day, and we do Skills Day, unfortunately, twice a year, although we are working, guys, we are working on one in Southern California. We're working on one in Tennessee. So those will be coming in. We're thinking about Texas again. But the idea with Skills Day, many times we have the Jeeps arriving, and the co-driver for the Skills Day happens to be the husband who has a lot of experience, but they're using Skills Day so the wife can learn. And or in this many cases, and it was very true in the JK. I don't know how many JKs we outfitted here at MetalCloak that were the wife's Jeep, but the husband was able to do whatever he wants with it. But finally get him out there to be able to do it. In fact, guys I know who have been wheeling for years and years and years, who are finally like, this is a great opportunity for my wife to learn what we do. And one, for me, she may be the passenger in all his trips, but
Right.
she now gets to actually do it a little bit herself and have a little bit more control and give. So it's amazing to be able to have that sort of participation. Now, on the flip side of that, I've also known women who the husband was a passenger the entire time. Like, there are, there's nothing to be said. This is not a man's sport. This is not a woman's sport. This is a family sport, right? The Jeep is a family vehicle for the family to get out. And my wife, obviously when we're Jeeping, I drive. Everywhere else, she drives. Like, she does not like my driving anywhere. So I sit in the passenger seat of her minivan, and she's in control, right?
That's funny.
But
yeah,
the Jeep,
my husband, he doesn't drive my Jeep. I don't want him to. I love him, but it's mine, I know it so well, especially like when we're off-roading or whatever. I'm just like, oh, that noise is okay, but that noise is not okay, or that kind of thing. But
well, you definitely hit on something very important there, and that's part of, guys, part of you actually working on your rig. And I'm sure this has obviously been very valuable for you. You work on your own rig, your own rig, you can fix your own rig. If you're out wheeling, you need to be able to fix your rig. You need to know and be able to see it. Like you were just talking about, just knowing little sounds, little things. Like when you're modifying a vehicle, the last thing you want to do and is to go out and say, hey guys, I got a bunch of money. I'm just going to go out and buy a already built rig. And you get somebody's rig that's been all built up, and it's got 40s, and it's got tons, and it's got all these things, and it's all built rig.
Right.
You don't know the rig. And when it starts going bad, you don't know what to spot, and you can't do it. So you're doing it the right way. That's amazing.
On the East Coast, we have a lot of tight trails. There's a lot of trees and everything. So like that front right passenger tire, when some people will be like, oh, we're going to hit the tree. But it's like, no, I know I can, if I'm at full lock, like I'll be fine. Like you said, it's just so important to know your rig, to know, and it allows you to do that much more on the trail and do it without breaking.
So what's your favorite trail you've done?
That's a tough one. New Hampshire honestly provides the most beautiful scenery and trails. We go up to them. Some people have probably seen it recently. It's been on a couple shows, is Field and Forest. That's like a crazy, I would say, hardest East Coast property, at least that I've been to anyway. And a lot of others feel the same way. that place is no joke.
Where's that located? Where's that at?
That's in Harrisville, New Hampshire. It's called Field and Forest. It was recently on the 24 Hell and Back.
Mm.
From yeah. So that's just, I think they did a few trails, but the place is huge. And even in the surrounding area, the Class 6 roads, if you don't want to do something as crazy, is another great opportunity for wheeling, get your
Is
feet
that all
wet.
private or public?
That is the Class 6 roads or the place.
Either one, both of them.
Class 6 is all public. The Field and Forest is private, but there are certain events where you would purchase tickets and like you're allowed to go, that kind of thing. But you can't just like say I want to go wheeling this weekend. So you can't really do that. But there are plenty of opportunities. If you are in the East Coast, I highly recommend joining a Jeep club that is a part of the NEA, or the Northeast Association Four-Wheel Drive Clubs. That's how we get a lot of access, the private properties or just whatever other properties that the clubs may know about and kind of share. And we all share the same mission of growing the sport in a responsible, legal, like containable way to grow the sport and advocate for, responsible land use and whatnot.
Well, that's awesome. So the NEA, I've never heard of the NEA. So that's a how many is that whole region or the whole Northeast region?
Yes, whole Northeast region. There are a lot of clubs. I do not know the exact number, but I think it's like 40 something now.
Wow.
So I'm in Ocean State Jeepsters. They are part of the NEA, and that is most recently they had the NEA snow run this past weekend, and if you're part of the club, you could have gone to a number of properties. You can pick whichever ones that they had available and go and wheel with, whether it be your actual club or other people too, because it's always good to meet people from other clubs as well and stuff.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, very
So
big out here and very important to allowing off-roading in the Northeast and whatnot.
that's awesome. That is great that community is so strong up there.
Yeah.
We used to have, I mean, in our early days, 2009, we opened our doors, or reopened, I should say. We had two strong markets. One was Texas, and the other one was Pennsylvania. And it was just the growth of the community up in that region and how strong they were together. Because, well, I mean, you guys are all playing the same game, trying to find places to wheel because you don't have all the public lands we have out here.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame that there's not more public places around here. So it's kind of one of the big things that we try to advocate for, and as well as taking care of the properties that we do have access to. I think is like one of the most important things, in my opinion, is taking care of the ones that we do have, cleaning up the trash, making sure people aren't out there irresponsibly doing crazy things and whatnot. Everyone's in a safe rig, you have seatbelts, you have all that kind of thing. So, and like I said, in my opinion, I think that's the most taking care of what we have and, treating it
Guys,
right.
don't be dumb. Don't be, you hear it on this podcast all the time. Don't be stupid. We hate stupid.
Right.
And that means you got to take care of the areas. I mean, that's what happens out here is you get some yahoos out here doing stuff on the Rubicon Trail, and all of a sudden the environmentalists come up, go, see, I told you so. And then they go, well, let's close the trail. Yeah. And we're totally, I have a lot of admiration to those of you on the East Coast who don't have all the public lands and the private lands. Like, have you gone to do you go travel out to the big parks like Wind Rock and that sort of thing from your region,
No, I haven't
PA
yet.
or?
So I have a bunch of trips planned for PA this year. I'm very excited about that. But we got a trailer last year, so we haven't really been too far outside of like the Northeast region and everything, but I'm all the more open to it, traveling, and we got the trailer, we got the rig. So I'm like, let's do it. Like, hopefully getting out to the West Coast this year. That would be awesome.
That would be great. That would be great. Well, we are going to be at. I was just looking at our schedule for the CTI tour this year, and we're going back to the PA All Breeds Jeep event, which we haven't been to PA All Breeds in a few years.
Oh,
So you should put that on your schedule
I'm
because
going
we'll
to
have.
that. That's
Yeah, so Corey and Jessy will be out there with the CTI trailer this year. We'll get some
cool.
pictures of your rig up on the CTI and out there. So yeah, definitely go out there. That's a great show. I haven't been to it in years myself. I mean, that was one of my first cross country trips with in 2014 with a CTI trailer and an RV. Is we started here and we did every day a different event, different location
That's
from
cool.
Colorado to Kansas City up to Minneapolis over to Michigan, down through to Ohio. I mean, it was every day was a different event, ending up and Mount Zion off road in PA, and then going to the All Breeds when it was done in New York. And it's
Oh,
a
that's
great show.
so cool.
It's such a cool, and for you especially because it has a big show and shine. Like it'll be really cool to have your rig out there in the show and shine and see who see people check it out. That's gonna be cool. Yeah, so definitely.
That's
And we're just
cool.
great that we get to back out there.
Yeah, that's in July, right? July like 20 something.
Let's see that. Got to go onto our schedule board. Now if I had the Modern Jeeper calendar in front of me that you guys could all get at 50% off at MetalCloak.com, with all the events listed, including the PA. If I had that right in front of me, I could answer that question, but I don't have it in front of me. So instead, I'm going to our Trello board. Trello is the system we use to manage all of our activities and stuff in this company. And looking at PA All Breeds, it looks like it's July 20th.
Yeah.
So yep, looks like it's July 20th. And it's I think it's a 2-day event. So at least it used to be, probably still is a 2-day event. But what a great group of people out there. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, Mike Cashman, Mount Zion Off Road, great. In fact, I got a phone call with him today because he called me. He wants to complain about something, but good people, great family, great people out there. I just love the region. So you have Roush. You have what's the other club?
AOAA.
AOAA. Yeah. Some reason I was saying PIA. That's but AOAA. And there's another one out there as well. That is so there's a trifecta of three properties up there. Is it Reading? Am I thinking that correctly? But
Thanks. Yeah.
So now I got to look that up.
Yeah, I have a couple trips planned for Roush and AOAA, which both of them, Jeeper, they're part of Jeep Beef. Obviously, they're doing a couple events there this year as well.
Oh,
I
cool.
will be at those as well. The dates, it's sometime in the summer, and then I want to say it's August. So we'll be in PA a couple times in the summer. So I'm looking forward to those trips.
Well, Roush is beautiful. Roush is absolutely beautiful, but of course you know that because I'm sure New Hampshire is beautiful too. I mean that whole area and region up there. I feel like I want to go back out there. I want to go back out there and just spend a couple weeks just going and enjoying it. Just so green, so beautiful.
So nice. I love Rhode Island. I'm born and raised here, but I hope to move north one day soon.
Yeah. It's the famous reading outdoors of famous reading. That is the other one. So you have AOAA, Roush, and famous reading are the trifecta. We tried to do a Modern Jeeper adventure up there. We were going to try to hit all three of those, but that's kind of a common thing up there. So it didn't really catch on. People wanted something different and new with Modern Jeeper Adventures. So, okay. So now, that you got those plans.
Yeah.
What's the number one item on your bucket list? What's the number one place you want to go on your bucket list?
That's so tough. I really, really do want to go out west. It's just, I flew out there a long, long time ago for non-related off-roading stuff. So to go there with a rig, oh my God, it'd be like a dream come true. Like it's worth all the travel. I think it's like 30 hours from me, but it's worth it. If it doesn't happen this year, that's okay. But I would like it to. But it's just looks so cool. It looks so different than what we have here. It's all mud, rocks, and trees, and which is super fun. But it'd be cool to experience and take the Jeep on something else that isn't around here.
Well, I'm going to throw an invitation out to you for this year, and I'm not gonna specify. I'll tell you afterwards why it might be an important invitation to take me up on. But Modern Jeeper Adventures Moab is Memorial Weekend. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, and it's going to be a special one. And I said, I'll tell you offline why it's special. Yes,
Yeah,
all your
yeah.
modern Jeepers, you're just going to have to wait. You're just going to have to wait and hear why it's special. Um, but if there was any way, I mean, I'm throwing an invitation out to you. You know, you're welcome. Come join us. Our treat.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but it might be the impetus you need to go and say, okay, guys, we're going to hop in. We're going to go out there. We're going to do Moab and even though Modern Jeeper Adventures Moab is 2 days of trips, it is
Yeah.
Memorial Weekend. It is longer. You can do more stuff. We have friends out there. You can hang out longer if you wanted to, and
Okay, cool.
just enjoy Moab. And there's so much to do between there and here. I mean, from where you're at now. We've had a guy years ago who did that, where he's traveled and he like documented the different courses he went on his way out there, and then did the whole thing on the way back. But it would be so cool to have you out there as part of it.
That would be so awesome.
So
it would be like a trip of a lifetime.
Exactly. And you should just do it, right? Just do it this year. Just don't put it off. Just do it. Maybe we can talk offline
right?
about how to make that happen. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to teach my kids and anyone else who follows along. Like, you have one life. Like, now is the time to do it. Not later, not tomorrow. Like, now.
Yeah, don't get old and gray like me and go, well, gee, I thought I'd spend more time. You know, I lived in Japan for 2 years and it was amazing. But I always thought, well, I'll always go. It's just gonna be a part of my life. I'll go back all the time, right? And I think I went back once.
Yeah.
Because if you don't decide to do things, it never happen. Whether it's business,
Right.
like I just had to tell one of my guys, like, listen, you have this target, right? Yeah, okay. You need to do one a week or else it's never gonna happen. Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. You've got to set targets and goals or else they just don't happen. Next thing you know, you wake up and it's 20 years later and you go, boy, yeah, I should have done that. Wow, I wish I would have done that. Wow, remember that thing we were talked about doing that one time we were going to do it and we never did it? Yeah, now it's too late. So just you gotta do it. But you can't just be all self-centered about it either.
No.
There's a lot of people that do this. Well, I'm just going to live my best life. No. It's not about living your best life. It's about living the best life you can, which includes other people, includes life and society and community around
the
you.
Positive impact you can make along the way to those people, to show them you guys can do it too. Like, come on, let's go all together. Kind of
Absolutely. Thing. And that positivity is infectious, right? I mean, when you go and touch 10 people and give them something, and then they can touch 10 people and so on and so on and so on, right? It's not a Nair commercial. It's like this. It is a true thing that we have this
ripple effect.
The ripple effect, right? Yeah. And I think Jeepers all around have such a great ripple effect on people, right? Because we go out there and we take care of our communities. Now, the guys that drive Toyotas, I don't know, they're all all screwy. But us Jeepers, we're better than that. No, off-roaders in general. Sorry, guy, I don't want to get any haters, right? Off-roaders in general are all good people. We want to take care of. Now, guys on motorcycles and ATVs, well, but there was recently a thing in Moab where a guy was going around and he got arrested for putting out stickers and signs that were basically saying dead tourists don't rent our ATVs or stuff like that, right? Like he was totally hating on the side-by-sides that had gone into town. I don't know if he's a native who's been there all the time, or he's one of these like guys that have moved in recently and then hated the fact that this was just what the community had become. But that's what he did. He had 10,000 stickers they confiscated from him. He was putting them everywhere, all about don't rent ATVs and dead tourists don't rent ATVs, and it was sad. But he obviously had a beef to pick and he was doing it. But really, we're all just trying to enjoy ourselves. And I'll say this for all of you listening out there: if you are a renter of ATVs and you don't take the time to educate your people who are renting on etiquette and the proper way of doing stuff and what they should or shouldn't do, it's on you when they're going around being assholes. I'll just say it. Sorry. Right. We all have a responsibility to teach and share.
Yeah, for sure. I brought that up too about like younger up and coming Jeepers, ATV, whatever you do. it's not even that they don't always know. It's like you have to show them. So this is the proper way to do it. This is what's good, what's not good. And try to stay along those guidelines so you can be able to do this for the years, not have it be shut down, or just keep it good.
Right. Well, because there's groups out there, people that are always watching us, and they're always watching and trying to, and the fights we have in Moab right now. The fight with Moab is not over. The fight Oceano Dunes, the fight everywhere, every possibility that somebody can come along and say, yeah, all you Jeepers just tear up the trails. Well, we don't, and we do a lot to support and repair the trails, but they don't see that,
Right.
and that's fine. I mean, we understand it. We just have to educate them, but we also can't be asshats. We
Right.
have to be good people on the trail. We have to take care of, and we can't go around doing what they say we do, because
Yeah.
that just gives them the evidence to shut us down, and then we won't have any place to wheel. And then we'll all be like the East Coast, where we don't have public
Yeah.
places to go, and
Dude, it's a fight for it. You got to fight
Right.
to advocate for yourselves. Like, we are safe, we are responsible, we are just want to have fun and enjoy our hobbies and passions. Like,
Right.
it's just like going to a park. You can run in the park or you can ride your bike, but we want to do the same thing, just in our Jeeps or whatever other 4x4s.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know you have a schedule. You have to go pick up your daughter here in a few minutes. So this has been great. I really do appreciate you taking the time to share with us. And everybody needs to check you out on Instagram. Like, go like her, and it's Tombraider_Wrangler. Can't miss it. Great, just a great IG page. Or do you have any other social media, or is that your primary?
It's my primary. Yeah, I do have others. I have a Facebook page as well with the same name. But my main focus is Instagram. Hopefully I'll try to broaden my range, but I feel like I have a good audience on there, and
Have you played on TikTok at all?
I have one. I haven't made one thing on it yet.
It's weird. I mean, you've
I don't
obviously got
know.
the reels thing down, because you've done those, but yeah, my wife has to do stuff for a gym that she works for, so she does TikTok, and then she's got the reels, and I feel
Yeah.
half the time I'm helping her with it, but it's a different game. It's a different game. It's all about the music. She'll spend more time trying to figure out what music to put over a reel over a TikTok than actually like what it took to actually do the video.
I know.
Like,
I'm glad you brought that up, because like on Instagram, there's trending sounds all the time. People like, use trending sounds to grow, but I don't like using the trending sounds and some of the stuff. I want to put the music that I like or things like that. Not just because something's trending. Like, I don't know.
well, you could be a follower, or you could be a leader. So use your own music, because maybe your music will become trending sounds. Right?
Right. You
Like,
never know. Like,
you
just
never
do what you
know.
like. Don't worry about how many people are going to like it. If you like it is the priority, in my opinion. But
Right, because then you have things like putting on the rockers with 7,200 views, right? Um, I mean, this is the stuff that makes people, and like you said, I watched it, and like, oh, I can do that. Cool, and
yeah.
that's awesome.
And the
That's awesome.
wood that you guys send with it was great, because I don't have any 2x4s. I only have like 4x4 blocks. So the
Uh-huh.
2x4s that come with them, it's perfect. They fit into the slots on the side of the rock rails. So I don't know if you meant to do that, but it's
Pure
convenient.
of pure genius. Of course we did. Of course we did. No, it
Yeah.
is it's purely accidental, but it was one of those things. Like, we did our first skid plates were shipped completely boxed in wood. Like, we built a wood
Oh
crate
yeah. Yeah.
around them that was there. Because, excuse me. Now we do now we have them in essentially pizza boxes, these nicely
Yeah.
designed boxes. But yeah, the 2x4s is there for a purpose, part of making it ship and come together and arrive without any beat up parts. But that's
Right.
great. That's awesome. You got a chance to use it, and not just not just to throw at your husband when he was telling you wrong things to do.
I know.
Yeah.
Be the right
Get away from me! Don't touch my tools.
I know. And I'm like very like organized. Yeah, I try to put the tools back, and not to say that he's not, but I'm just like, keep your side clean. We gotta film.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm sitting here choking. All right. Well, I gotta let you go. We could talk for hours, I'm sure. Any other place
I
where
just want
how
to
people?
say thank you for having me on here. It's been super fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one. This is great, and I enjoy sharing and talking. So thank you so much.
Well, it's fun. I do want to point out to everybody, like if you look at her page, all the stuff she has on her Jeep right now from MetalCloak, she bought. Okay, guys, this is not. We're working with you now on some stuff, and we love it, and we're gonna be working together, and this is awesome. But what you see on her rig, like she was a fan of MetalCloak, and then she
Mhm.
bought the stuff and put it on. It wasn't like, oh, here's a bunch of free stuff here,
Right.
going stuff. So it is genuine. Okay.
I appreciate
Um,
you mentioning that. I really
here,
do. Because I
because
do. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll rep your guys' stuff loud and proud because I like it. The quality, the from start to finish customer service, it's unmatched. So I
and it says a lot. I mean, we support groups and organizations and people that like our products first, not because, oh, hey, can I give you something free so you can rep me? Whether it was Light Bright or you or anybody else, anybody who's ever come along wanted our products first before we decided, like, oh, hey, let's just support you on your journey. So
yeah,
we're happy to support you on your journey. We're amazed. We're great to see where this goes, and I hope we see you in Moab.
I really do too. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. And any other way people can reach out to you? Is it IG the preferred way?
Yeah, I do use the preferred way. I do have an email on there as well. It's the hard knocks garage at gmail.com. But you can access that right through my Instagram or click the link in my bio and you can contact me there as well.
Perfect, perfect. That's awesome. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Hey, Modern Jeepers, thanks for joining us. Kristie, thank you so much for being part of the show. Hang on a second as I pause this so that we can make sure we all get to all and all the stuff's recorded. But hey, Modern Jeepers, you know how to reach me, Matt@MetalCloak.com, and of course, check us out at ModernJeeperAdventures.com. You will want to be a part of the Moab trip if you haven't already registered. And again, we will in a future episode tell you why. But for now, if you're thinking about doing something like that, and if you wanted to do it, this is the year to do it. Okay. So check it out at ModernJeeperAdventures.com. Of course, you can check out ModernJeeper.com for latest news and information about Jeeps, and ModernJeeperForum.com just to share and be a part of a community. Otherwise, thank you again for joining us. Kristie, thank you so much. And friends, we'll see you on the
Thank you,
trail.
Matt.
Oh,
Thank you.
our pleasure.